If only sustainable fashion were allowed in this room, we would all be naked.
Even if garments are made of sustainable material, as long as they are not recyclable, there's no such thing as sustainable fashion.
I'm Cédric Van Hoek, and this is Rabamar, and we are from Resortecs, Recycling Made Easy. We allow for garment recycling at a bigger scale and at a higher quality.
And this is critical, because every second, one garbage truck full of textile is wasted globally.
Since the beginning of our pitch, almost 50 trucks have just been dumped in landfills.
And what's even more shocking is that less than 1% of this waste is effectively recycled. A $500 billion worth of material is wasted every year. It's not surprising, fashion industry is responsible of up to 10% of annual CO2 emission around the globe.
Garments are difficult to recycle, and that is because they are difficult to disassemble. Manual disassembly is expensive, not scalable, and time-consuming. And mechanical disassembly harms the textiles, and that results in downcycling.
Have you seen the shocking images of the Atacama Desert in Chile that was transformed into a garment graveyard? Some of those items still have the price tags attached to them. Yes, unsold inventory is a huge problem, a $4.3 billion problem for one brand alone. You might have heard about the EU directives to tackle this issue through extended producer responsibility, leftover destruction ban, and stricter directives against greenwashing. To be compliant with EU's Circular and Sustainable Textile Directive by 2024, garments must be designed to be recycled today. So, what if we can cut the cost of unsold inventory, help brands become compliant, and simultaneously make all garments recyclable?
Meet Resortecs, a globally patented solution tested by 30 of the world's biggest fashion players, and now also sold by three major brands in more than 60 countries. It all starts with Smart Stitch, that allows you to design garments for disassembly, and this by simply changing the stitching thread. The heat-dissolvable stitching thread of Resortecs dissolves at high temperatures, and that allows you to make seams automatically disappear, without having to change something in design nor manufacturing, and while still being able to wash, dry, and iron your clothes.
Then comes Smart Disassembly, our globally patented systems that can dismantle garments 5 times faster. Those industrial ovens can take 10 tons of textile apart every day without damaging the fabric thanks to the low oxygen. And to keep it sustainable, they are designed in a closed chamber to ensure a reduction of waste energy.
But how does it work exactly? Well, brands use Smart Stitch in the production of a new garment. At the end of life, they send us back the garments, and we dismantle them using our smart disassembly systems. And what we recuperate are premium sorted materials that are ready for recycling. What comes next is up to the brand. They can sell the sorted materials to recyclers, or they can decide to get it recycled for them. And that means transformed into fiber, then back to yarn, fabric, and then finally a new garment.
What about the results? This small change unlocks a huge impact. Brands now can have a continuous supply of high-quality recyclable material. They can reduce the cost of unsold inventory, and also they will become environmentally compliant, meaning they will be ready for the EPR, they would reduce water use, waste, and CO2 footprint. And our life cycle assessment shows that, we are targeting 5 SDG targets, and our life cycle assessment shows that coupling Resortecs solution with effective recycling, we can reduce CO2 emissions by 50%, waste by 80%, and water use by 98%. This means 7 kilograms of CO2 avoided per every pair of denim dismantled and effectively recycled. What does that mean on the EU level? If all garments in EU are made with Resortecs disassembled and effectively recycled, 60 million tons of CO2 can be avoided, and 2.3 billion euros can be avoided every single year. Let's zoom out. On a global level, the fashion industry can reduce 28% of its Paris Agreement CO2 reduction target by 2040 by simply changing the stitching thread.
Solving such a big problem with a simple switch of stitching thread wouldn't have been possible without an award-winning and multidisciplinary team that has more than 75 years of combined expertise in engineering, design, and environmental science, but is also supported by an international advisory board that represents key stakeholders of our value chain. Compared to the competition, Resortecs is the only solution that works for as well the brands as the recyclers, and that from a financial, an operational, and an environmental point of view. And that is thanks to our special business model that ensures a win-win partnership for all. It incentivizes recyclers with automation and scalability, and fashion brands with financial returns from the thermal disassembly. The hybrid business model combines a consumable, which is a smart stitching thread that we sell to the brands, and a machine, the thermal disassembly systems that we rent to recyclers. Global market is valued at 50 billion euros. And if you would focus on the garments made of materials that can be recycled today and that are sold on the European continent, we still have a huge market of 1.5 billion euros, and that on top of that has an annual growth rate of 30%.
Our mission is to become fashion's eco-design standard, reducing CO2 emissions from this industry by 1 billion ton by 2040.
And to achieve this target, we have raised more than 4 million euros so far, including a 2.5 million euro EIC grant. Now it's time to double the team, or increase the team, increase the thread production, but also the disassembly capacity. The 75,000 euros prize will allow us to get one step closer to achieving this target. Resortecs, a technology so hot,
it will melt your mind.